Hello everybody and welcome to Wine Library TV. I'm your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is Wine Library TV, and we have four very different kind of wines today. And I was just in a weird mood, want to try some things. I find these ones all intriguing, all different reasons why I've been dying to try them, and that's what we're going to do today. Got a couple things I want to talk about. Number one, there's been a little chatter about the Bordeaux episode. Everybody's been waiting for that. Just to let you know, we just got in our tapes from Bordeaux, from the company that filmed all the stuff. So we're going to be editing it over the next 2 weeks or so and putting together, there's about 100 hours worth of video there, and hopefully we'll put something together for a 20 or 30 minute episode. So I apologize for the delay, but that's it took a little while for them to get it over to us. Number two, large format fever. Great Vaniac, watches a lot. Wanted to give everybody a shout out. He got a big 4.0 in grad school this semester, and Wine Library TV was one of his few luxuries, so he wanted to give a big shout out to the viewers, and especially the people in the forums. Speaking of forums, as of this moment, we have 1,936 members on the forum, and if you want to help me out, you know the number we're looking for, 2,000. Huge link over here if you're watching today, or down here if you're watching not today. Please introduce yourself. It's a tremendous community, a lot of cool stuff going on there. Speaking of community and lots of cool stuff, the VO contest is heating up. There is an enormously interesting video that was just put up by Booby. I want you to have a link for it. Booby, I'm giving you a link because this is a rocking video. Please check that out. And more importantly, fellow Vaniacs, please take 20 or 30 minutes of your time when you have some downtime. Thank you for watching me, but you've got to check the VO contest. There's about 19 videos in there right now, and some of them are out and out phenomenal. Better than Wine Library TV for sure. So please check that out, and an update on what we're doing. One more time, if you're not familiar, VO and Viral and us have combined to do a contest, $1,000 Ultimate Vaniac contest. I will come to your home anywhere in the continental United States and do a private tasting for you if you make a video and put on VO. And so what we're doing is we're extending the deadline. A lot of people have emailed me over the last 24 to 48 hours asking if they have more time. We've done that, and here's what we're doing. The deadline is now April 23rd, and then on Viral, which is a show that's on VO, on the 27th. In the beginning of the show, the 3 finalists will be named, and at the end of the show, the winner will be named. Your voting is key, so sign up for a VO account and give like some clicks, and that'll be really cool. And more importantly, Sonny, the host of Viral, and I will pick the 3, we'll use the voting to pick the 3 finalists, and then we'll pick the finalist, the winner, and that's going to be really cool, and I'm excited to meeting you, the future winner. And Booby, what a great effort. You got to check that out. Let's get into some wine. What I've started with today and why it's intriguing is this Burger 2005, Brugger 2005, I like Burger better, Gruner Veltliner 2005 Veltliner, 14 US dollars, 11.5% alcohol content. And the reason this is intriguing is, you know, a couple of customers of mine who are really snobby, non-white wine drinking fans emailed me, 2 separate people who don't know each other, live in different parts of the country, and said, you know, one actually tasted it from Wine Library, one actually had it at a restaurant, and were telling me great things about this. As you know, we've done an episode on the Gruner that we like to call Groovy. These are great wines. It's starting to get summertime here, even though it's like a monsoon outside. It's disgusting. You might have noticed the power went out. We had some server issues. Lots going on this morning, so it's a little hectic. I'm glad to be able to drink some wine. Nice color for a Gruner, for a Groovy. Really nice and golden, a little bit hint of darkness compared to some of the real light styles. And let's give this a whirl. Beautiful white pepper nose coming through on the bouquet. Very nice spritzy pear, a little bit of apple peel as well, but very subtle. Let's give it a whirl. Pretty acidic and a little bit disjointed for me right now, actually. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of crispness, a little bit of a disjointed aspect between the fruit and the crispness. I'll be honest with you, I'm not feeling it as much as the other people. There is a nice balance of apple core on the finish, and the finish is very sour to me. Comes off a little bit awkward. Not a huge fan of this wine. I'm going to score this wine 86 plus. It is what it is. It's just not something that I'm completely blown away with. Let's move on. Nobilio, 2005 Icon Pinot Noir from New Zealand, Marlborough. Nobilio is a very big producer now. 15 US dollars, 91 points, Wine Spectator. So I don't have to tell you why this is intriguing. If this is rocking, this could be one of the real interesting wines in the market today, given the fact that Pinot Noir is so hot right now, and this is only 15 bones and 91 point Spectator. I'm really intrigued. Before I get into this, I got a very interesting email. I want to share, a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff going on with Wine Library TV you don't get to see a glimpse into. So let me just read this email that I got from Anthony Valenzano from Valenzano Winery in New Jersey. Gary, thanks for taking the time for reviewing our Chardonnay. Unlike many critics, you actually taste the wine before you review it. The fact is that you were dead on in your comments. If you don't remember, we pretty much panned the Chardonnay pretty brutally. So let's move on. The market has forced us into planting and growing Chardonnay. It is not the best suited white wine for the East Coast. I've said that before. The wine retains very little varietal flavor grown here in New Jersey. Fortunately, we have placed integrity over market demand, and since we're in the process of shutting down our outlet licenses down, we no longer have the need to produce a wide range of products. We will be sticking with what works, and this we have taken out the Chardonnay of our menu. Try our Vidal Blanc. It's light, crisp, fruity white wine, similar to Pinot Grigio. The Vidal Blanc really does well here in our mostly planted white grape. For reds, try our Cabernet Merlot blend or our straight Merlot. I wouldn't try the Chabrachine unless you have the 2001 or older, although this is our favorite red. Thank you for being open-minded about New Jersey wines. I hope we won't disappoint you in your next taste. Anthony Valenzano. Let me tell you why this email resonated so much. Number one, not because Anthony says I'm right and I'm cool or anything like that. It's because so many wineries over the last 6 to 12 months have really had issues with Wine Library. We're a big account and we do really well, but a lot of wineries no longer want to support us or give us their wines because maybe we reviewed one of their wines non-favorably. It's nice to see somebody like this who gets it, who knows that I have no agenda. I'm New Jersey. Heck, I wanted to give it 101 points. And at the end of the day, it's just, it's very tough right now. We're getting beat up pretty good by the wineries, and it was a nice email. It really resonated, and just, he's a good guy, and, it's very nice, and I appreciate the email very much on many different levels. Nobilio, Pinot Noir. Let me start with the nose. Very dark chocolate, not chocolate, charcoal aspect on the nose coming through. Not a lot coming through, a little hint of strawberry coming through. I'm getting a little bit of green peppers coming through, but not too much. A little bit more floral, definitely not Burgundian. A little more California in its nose, a little sweetness resonating through the nose. Let's give it a whirl. Nice sour cherry flavor, really obvious in the component. Getting a little bit of heat, 13.5 alcohol, which is surprising. Definitely bitter tannins and not sweet tannins, which, depending on how you look at it, is a very intriguing aspect to this wine. It's very New World in many different ways, lively and bright and fresh. However, the sour green asparagus, broccoli, Brussels sprout, pepper aspect to the tannins, the sourness and the vegetal aspect is not as integrated and integrated with like the manure and earthy tones that grape red Burgundy have. And so it's kind of finding a very awkward balance between having a lot of New World aspects to it and then having this component that reminds me a lot of the Old World but just isn't integrated. It's really like, just fruits and salads on two separate ends. There's no integration of the flavor, which is what is really profound and exciting and interesting in wine. Little disjointed, as I like to say. The mid palate's kind of hollow, and the finish is kind of short. It's a nice, adequate bottle of Pinot Noir, and there's a lot of Pinot Noirs in the marketplace that are a lot more expensive that don't even deliver this. There's some brightness, and there's some enjoyability aspects to it. I'm going to score this wine 88 plus points. I do not find this the 91 point spectator wine that they do. I just don't see it. Really, I don't. It's not bad, but the finish is really going to give some people an issue. Let's move on. This is going to get fun. 1993 Chateau Angelus. And this is $100 US, 92 points Parker. We just got this in. This is one of the wines that I picked up on my trip. And so I have tasted this recently. I'm going to taste it again. Hopefully not too much bottle variation. That was fun. Been decanting for several hours. Again, we do so much young wine on Wine Library TV, so I thought this would be really special. 100 bones, 92 points Robert Parker. He hasn't scored it in a long time. And I'm really darn excited about this. Let's give it a whirl. Color is fantastic. Angelus is widely considered one of the premier top Saint-Emilion producers, and I'm a huge fan of it. Their 2005 was one of the best 05s that I tasted in the entire trip. I just think they are well on their way from separating themselves from a lot of wineries in Bordeaux. And now here's a really interesting thing. This is a big explosion marriage between licorice and pickles, and the families don't get along. I mean, Licorice's parents are really pissed that they're getting married to the pickles, but it is what it is. It's love, and that's what's going on in this bouquet. Pickles and licorice in a lovely fusion of excitement on the nose. Getting some dark charcoal aspects as well on this, but the licorice and the pickles are really resonating. There's also a wow. That tomato juice V8 aspect that I talk about, and I get it a lot of times at older Bordeaux, is definitely coming through in this as well. Very intriguing. Interesting. Let's give it a whirl. Wow. Very interesting. Strong tannin punch, like a pitchfork. They poked me in the shoulder. They didn't want to hurt me that bad, saying, hey, I'm not old. As I was thinking it, I mean, this is a 14-year-old wine, and it's drinking like a baby. Great tannin integration. However, this is Bordeaux, old world style Bordeaux at that. It's definitely a greener type of wine. There's some nice leather aspects coming through in this wine. I like a whole lot. Almost like a hint of, this is going to get you a little bit. If you've ever had rattlesnake, I'm getting a little bit of a rattlesnake aspect in this wine, which is making it quite intriguing. Black cherry coming through very obviously. A polished blueberry aspect, just like almost like a blueberry jam, but not the jamminess of New World. Just the like sour blueberry jam, if that makes any kind of sense. Again, tobacco is coming through a little bit now on the nose as it continues to open up. A very intriguing wine, a very much an old world wine. People that love explosive Syrahs or big California cabs could have issue with this. It might be too bitter, sour, earthy for them. I find it quite complex and intriguing. Very interesting. I'm unfortunately not going to go as high as Parker, though. Once again, this bottle is showing very well. It's an excellent bottle of wine. I'm going to go 90 plus points. I think it's a great score for the wine. I think it's very good, extremely solid. I wouldn't go 92 on it. At 100 bones, I guess at the end of the day, I would say this is a pass. But this is for the people that really, A, can afford it. Two, $100 Bordeaux, 14 years old. This is what happens. And the wine is extremely good. Don't think the score is not, scores are scores. I mean, I like the wine a lot. It's just not killing me. It's not doing anything special. It's like a solid utility man coming off the bench in a baseball game. Just a solid, good old-fashioned player, non-all-star, just that good guy, that good chap. And that's what this is. This is like Wally Backman, Let's move on. You like that? You remember Wally Backman. Let's move on, and this is going to get awfully, awfully interesting. This is the Puanza Norte. The Puanza Norte 2001 Rioja. 16 months in French oak, 60% Tempranillo, 40% of more indigenous grapes to the region of Rioja. What's really intriguing about this wine is that it's got 93 plus points from Jay Miller, who's the new wine critic for The Wine Advocate, which is Robert Parker's magazine. But it has 100 points from Andres Proenza, who's a very influential and big critic in Spain, who we've carried some wines that have been scored by him in the past and tend to always resonate with great scores in the U.S. market as well. Now, this is 80 bones, so it's not inexpensive, but this is to be made in the classic, humongous, over-the-top, big, structured power bomb, diesel power bomb, Kevin Nash style, Rioja. And I'm very intrigued. I've never had this wine, but 100-point wine. We've never done that on Wine Library TV. Yes, Proenza is not a major factor in the U.S. market. There's some people in Spain who don't love him either, but heck, there's people who don't like Parker or Spectator in the U.S. I'm very curious. J. Miller 93 plus, Proenza 100. I'm dying to try it. Let's give it a whirl. I'm super, super intrigued right now. Very New World. I'm getting that milky dairy aspect that I see a lot of times in wines that spend a lot of time in oak and are very New World. So I call it milk, and that's my term for it. This is where you're getting a Kirsch Royale. You're just getting that licorice, kind of red licorice, more so. This was black licorice, just a little bit of red licorice. Really explosive cherry bombs coming through. Like cherries that are like in a bomb form, not a cherry bomb. No toilets in this episode. Actually, this had a little toilet. Really, really explosive on the nose. Big structure coming through on the nose. I use the word structure on the nose. It's just something I use. It's a very viscous. It smells heavy, and it's got that kind of dairy aspect to it. Let's give it a whirl. Ooh, this is a baby. Tannins are ripping through. My entire palate is completely dry right now. This is... Did I pour it out of the decanter? Okay, good. Wow. 4 hours decanting did nothing for this wine. It is tight as a rock. However, there's a lot of... It's tight, and let me phrase that. It's not tight as a rock. I do get a lot of flavors. It's extremely bitter tannin structure. My entire mouth right now is completely puckered. But there's huge complexity going on in this wine. A tremendous velvety kind of red currant fruit going through. I'm getting a lot of cocoa bean as well on this wine. Mocha. Starbucks is invading the fruit section at your favorite, Wegmans. Kind of that. Lots of brands going on here, huh? McDonald's, Disney. Anyway, it's got a very firm grip and very structured and complex. A lot of New World Spanish wines, New World and the Old World, which a lot of the Spanish wines are now, even the Clios and the other things that I love, are so explosive, so dominated. A waterfall. Niagara Falls filled with just juice. This is a little bit more back to what I loved about yesterday's Languedoc wine, a nice medium ground, leaning a little towards the New World, but not too much, like a classic comedian that goes Old World, like Andrew Dice Clay. Not really. But this is very, very properly made, very structured. In the world of expensive wines, 80 bones for this wine is very fair for what they're delivering. This has a lot of characteristics to New World Garage Bordeaux's, and Garage Bordeaux's are the really culty little up-and-coming 100, 500,000 case brands that have popped up in Bordeaux, especially on the right bank over the last 10 years. It has a lot of similarities to this wine. I'm finding myself really impressed with this effort. This to me is a great put-away wine because I think you can drink this wine over the next 20 years at any point. However, it will continuously get better. It's like your spouse. You like them or her at 20, but at 30 it's better, and 40, 50, but all along the way, always good. I give this an absolutely high score. I'm going to give this wine 95 points. This is an extremely big-time effort, very polished, and doing everything right. The real dream of mine for where the wine world can go. taking what's so great about these two different parts of winemaking and bringing them together in one happy ball of happiness. Question of the day. What do you do when people are bashing you for no good reason? Because you, a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, aren't we?